Good evening, Gemma. Amelia. Good evening, Steph. Welcome to tonight's crime trivia. Gemma. Hello and thank you, Will. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you could be here with us tonight, Steph. As you can see, there's an ongoing issue with YouTube. I've seen it 3 times today with people streaming on YouTube, different channels. And it's also a notification is in my creator's dashboard that YouTube is having an issue with comments showing up in the order that they were actually sent or should be displayed, or you may not see the comment section at all after the stream. If that's the case, and you don't see the comment section of this live stream afterwards, if you're watching a rewind later on, check to see if YouTube has been blocked and notifications for YouTube has been turned off. At least that's what it says. I just typed it out as it said it. I've just had an anxiety attack laying down on my sofa into a duvet. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Ray Anna, welcome to tonight's live stream. And Kitiku, welcome to tonight's live stream. Is anyone else buffering or is it me? It may be you. This is, probably the worst night to be live streaming because not only is YouTube and Amazon and everybody out there, because of the American Super Bowl, everybody is streaming, services, and watching the game. There's a lot of internet traffic tonight, not counting people placing bets constantly during the game. So buffering is probably an issue on everyone's end, or their signal isn't as strong as it normally is. Right now, I have 4 out of 4 bars. I have a perfect signal right now on my end. So cross fingers, knock on wood, that it stays that way. Just breathe deep, Gemma. Take some deep breaths. Try to find a happy place to and concentrate on that. I went out and back in 3 times. It's good now. Well, I hope that the signal, like I said, stays good. We're gonna do our best. That's all I can do from my end is do my best. Give it another 30 seconds here, and then we're gonna get this started. Well, good, Jim. I'm glad that watching my live streams helps, and is able to somewhat relax you. That's good to know. Okay, let's get this going. This is the 292nd trivia night. 292nd trivia night. Right there, me, my little window. Hello, everyone. Will in his little window. All right. The killer next door. That is all the questions tonight are about the killer next door. Neighbors who didn't know that if their neighbor was a killer, maybe they thought he was a creepy person, and they thought maybe he had killed Ray, but he hadn't. But this is a collection of questions that are not easy by my standards at all. You may have difficulty getting some of them, or you may never have even heard of some of these killers. But every one of them is either a spree killer, serial killer, or there is one or two on the list that are what they used to call blitz killers, meaning they killed a whole bunch of people in one grouping, and then they laid low for a while, and then they blitz killed a bunch more. But they don't really use that term anymore for them. But good luck, anyways. All right, updated outline for the rules of trivia night. Use whatever means you have to come up with the answers. Open a web browser, phone a friend, ask that old man or woman on the sofa, ask the clerk at a store. It's not cheating. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Making unwanted remarks towards another player or host will get you timed out and reported not just to YouTube, but your ISP as well. So be nice or go away. All questions and research data collected for each question are the sole property of Delight Studio and 411 Now. Theft of the intellectual property will be reported with unless you have written permission from me directly, and will be dealt with swiftly. These questions are not morbid or mean, and are not, exploitive of families or of the victims. They are for educational purposes only. Good evening, Sherry. The first question is about to appear on your screen. Question number 1. Convicted of one murder, he convinced anyone who would listen he was innocent. He eventually got released only to kill more. Who is this? Is it A, Gary Ridgway, B, Jack Atwiger, C, Samuel Little, or D, Ed Kemper? Convicted of one murder, he convinced anyone who would listen he was innocent. He eventually got released only to kill more. Who is this? And tonight, I am drinking Liquid Death Armless Palmer. Armless Palmer tonight. Liquid Death. It's water. Kitaku is going with C. B, I have no idea, says Rayanna. Steph is going with C. Gemma is going with C as well. Sherry, C. Convicted of one murder. This man was so good, at trying to convince people that he was innocent. He, like a lot of inmates, I'm innocent, while he was behind bars. But he got everybody, and he even got reporters. He got other people in the media to rally for his release. That he was, and he, saying that he was wrongfully convicted of that one murder. He eventually, was able to garner an actual release from prison, only to go back out and kill more. Steph, I'm drinking Coca-Cola. I'm getting ready for my granddaughter's wedding tomorrow. Well, congratulations to your granddaughter, Sherry. I hope that, they have a beautiful ceremony. My peeps, good evening, my peeps, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Question number one, the correct answer is B as in boy, Jack Unterweger. Jack convinced not only the court and the state that he may have been wrongfully convicted of that first murder that he was convicted of. He got the Innocence Project to start to look into, testimony that was given against him. He got a couple of other, groups, nonprofits that work to free, wrongfully convicted individuals to look at his case as well. He did so much of this and was so successful at it, he got the actual court to garner him, a release, an early release. And within a year, he went back out and he killed at least 3 more within a year. And then when they looked back on the original case, he wasn't wrongfully convicted of the first murder charge. He was guilty as there is. But B as in boy is the correct answer. All right, question 2. Until the day of actual conviction for murdering upwards of 60 infants in her care, no one believed she would hurt anyone. Who is this? Is it A, Sarah Marshall, B, Janine Jones, C, Elaine Wernos, or D, Amelia Dyer? Until the day of actual conviction for murdering upwards of 60 infants in her care, no one believed she would have hurt anyone. Who is this? Question 2 of 20. The killer next door. Rumbly LPG. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. Rumbly LPG. We got Gemma with C, Frumbly with D, Brianna D, Steph D, Kitty Q D. Question number 2. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. From is a friend of yours from your channel. Well, any friend of yours, Gemma, is a friend of this channel. I welcome Rumbly LPG to the channel and to tonight's trivia. I'm glad they could be here with us. The answer to question number 2 is B as in boy. B as in boy. Janine Jones was convicted of murdering up to 60 children, infants in her care. Sarah Marshall is an actress. Elaine Wernos killed men in Florida. Amelia Dyer killed men and women. They're all killers, but the correct answer is B as in boy for question number 2. Question number 3, fact or fiction? A person must kill at least 5 others to be classified as a serial killer for the FBI and the DOJ with cooling off periods. Is the answer A, complete fiction, B, almost fact, it's actually 3 people, or C, fact, it has to be 5 or more, or D, almost fact, it has to be 2 or more? I'm on a roll so far, says Kitty Q. Fact or fiction? A person must kill at least 5 others to be classified as a serial killer with the FBI and the DOJ with cooling off periods. Question number 3 of 20. Tonight's killer next door. My peeps, Kitty Q, Ray Anna, everyone's going with B so far. A person must kill at least 5 or more to be classified as a serial killer for the FBI and the DOJ. Excuse me. Steph is going to go with A. Left-handed RN. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you've been having a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us tonight, Left-handed RN. Question number 3. Fact or fiction? A person must kill at least 5 others to be classified as a serial killer with the FBI and DOJ with cooling off period. The correct answer to question number 3 is B as in boy. Almost fact. It's actually 3 people, not 5. It's almost fact. They must kill at least 3 people to be considered a serial killer for the FBI and the DOJ with cooling off periods in between each victim. They can't just go kill 3 on the same day. That's called a spree killer. But they must have cooling off periods. And a lot of serial killers, not all, but a lot, according to the FBI, better than 85% of all known serial killers who have been caught, convicted, and studied have had multiple cooling off periods where they killed, then they went dormant, then they killed, then they went dormant. But better than 85%. That is the B as in boy is the answer again for question 3. Right car is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Hi guys, I'm just in. I decided not to watch the Super Bowl this year. It's the same thing every year. Well, I'm not watching it either, right car. In case anybody is interested and you want to jump ship, the San Francisco 49ers are playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the Super Bowl is in Las Vegas, Nevada, which I'm not watching it, because I don't care about the 2 teams, but I'm sure people do. But to each their own. Scrolling up here. Tuesday was your birthday, Lieutenant RN. Well, happy birthday, sweetheart. I'm sorry that we weren't able to catch it when it was your birthday. Well, happy belated birthday, for sure. I hope you had a happy day and were able to do something for at least yourself if you weren't able to celebrate it with others. All right, going on to question number 4. What percentage of all serial killers in the U.S. have started their serial killing after 1950? Was it A, 70%, B, 19%, C, 50%, or D, 80%? Question number 4. What percentage of all serial killers in the U.S. have started their serial killing after 1950? TYI Jess Rico Squad. Good evening and welcome, TYI Jess Rico Squad. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I am glad you could be here with us. What percentage of serial killers in U.S. started their serial killing after 1950? You might be surprised by the answer to this one. Is it 70%, 1950%, or 80%? Question number 4 of 20. All the questions are on The Killer Next Door tonight. Lieutenant RN is going with D. From Blee is going with B. Gemma go with A. Anna, A as well. TYI, just Rico Squad. Go with A as well. Jess is from your channel too. Well, thank you for coming over to watch trivia with us tonight. I hope you enjoy it. I really do. If you have any questions, please ask. What percentage of all serial killers in the U.S. have started their killing after 1950? Ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer to question 4 is D as in dog. 80% of all known serial killers in U.S. history started after 1950. Not 1949, not 1952, but I mean any time after 1950. Before 1950, something changed in 1950 in American culture, and the morality issue would have to play into that. But in 1950, before that, there were less than 200 serial killers that were known to have existed in the U.S. After 1950, it shot up from 200 to over 1,000 after 1950. 80% started after 1950. What in the hell happened in 1950 in America? We know that America went to war. Did that have something to do with it? Returning soldiers? I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. Maybe they were dealing with PTSD or something else. Something happened after from 1950 on, for something like that to happen, to explode, in numbers like that. 80% is a lot. It definitely is. Well, the new friends. Well, thank you, TIY, Just Right, Rico Squad. Question number 5. How many people did H.H. Holmes confess to killing in total? H.H. Holmes, Mr. Mudgett. Was it A, 54 people, B, 107, C, 27, or D, 18? How many people did he confess? Now, please note the confession. Oh, we're only looking for the number that he confessed to killing. Herman Mudgett. Michelle, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm glad you could be here with us. It was that 1950s thing. Was it rock and roll? That devil music? Did that play into why we saw an explosion of serial killers in America after 1950? I'm joking. That's, well, more sarcasm than a joke, but I guess. How many people did H.H. Holmes confess to killing in total? Question 5 of 20 for the killer next door. How many people did H.H. Holmes confess to killing? Michelle is going with B, Steph C, Rihanna C, Ricard B, Rico Squad C, Kidiku C, Left-Handed RN C. H.H. Holmes, Mr. Mudgett. And there's a lot of people who think that there's, and I'm not joking here. I don't know the total number, but there are a lot of people who tried to make the connection between H.H. Holmes and the murders in London of prostitutes. If they don't believe that he was Jack the Ripper, they believe that H.H. Holmes may have also been another killer who was known to be hunting, women in the night, streetwalkers, whatever you want to call them, whatever is politically correct nowadays for what you call a prostitute. I don't know. Sorry for not being politically correct. But there are a lot of people who tried to make that connection because there is a lot of years that are unaccounted for in his history. Okay, question number 5. The correct answer is C, as in cat. He confessed to killing 27 people. Now, when it comes to the actual murder total of H.H. Holmes, they can only go with what he confessed to and what they were able to actually document from remains of bones that were found. There may have been as many as 60 people that he killed, but 27 is what he confessed to. All right, question number 6. Spot the serial killer. Better than 80% of all known serial killers from around the world have been male, white, and what age? What age? We're looking for the average age of a serial killer. Is it A, 30 to 40 years of age, B, 40 to 50 years of age, C, 21 to 34 years of age, or D, 35 to 47 years of age? What is the other attribute of a serial killer? 80% of them have. They're white, they're male, and what age group do they fall in? Spot the serial killer. Better than 80%. That's quite a bit. Statistical odds that, if they're white, they're male, and they fall in this age group. 80% of them are, hit those three. Other things that they all have in common of those 80%, besides being white and male and in a certain age group, they're better than 70% consider themselves to be Christian from around the world, not just in the United States, around the world that consider themselves to be Christian. But how old are they? Question 6 of 20. We got Steph, Rihanna, Ricard going with B, Rico Squad C, Kitty Q C, Left-Handed RN is going with C as well. Michelle going with B, with like Ricard is. Sherry's going with D. Drugs, trauma for Miss K. Good evening, Miss K. And welcome to tonight's trivia. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sherry's going with D. My peeps is clocking in with C. Christian Slayers. Woke word, sex workers. Is that what they call them? I don't even know. I'm probably the last person you're ever going to find that's politically correct. I don't mean to be hateful or mean to people. I just don't understand it, and it's like as soon as I know how I'm supposed to refer to people in the political correct sense, it feels like to me like the goalposts just keep on getting moved farther and farther away. Like you can't call them that anymore. You can't say that word about them anymore. It sounds like a rock group, the Christian Slayers. It does, doesn't it? All right, question number 6. The correct answer is C as in cat, 21 to 34 years of age. So if you're looking for a serial killer, what you do is you need to find yourself a white male, someone who self-identifies as Christian and is between the ages of 21 and 34 years of age. Those are the ones that you want to bring home to mama. All right, question number 7. Dun, 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 dun. He enjoyed the hunt. He enjoyed the mission at hand. But what type of serial killer was Ted Bundy? From the list below, what type of killer was Ted Bundy? Was he A, lust or hedonistic killer? B, a thrill of excitement killer? C, a mission killer? Or D, a power control killer? We are looking for the type of killer that Ted Bundy is based on the psychology, not what other people may have said. We are looking for the clinical definition of what type of killer was Ted Bundy. Lust or hedonistic killer, thrill of excitement killer, or mission or power control. And S Girl, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm glad you could be here with us. We are currently on question 7, and your answer is C, mission power. It was Ted Bundy. It was a type of killer, serial killer. Steph, maybe D? I don't know. I don't know. Could be. We'll have to find out. I bet we'll find out here in just a little bit. D, but all of the above, says Kitty Q. Steph says, I think I'll change from A to D. Michelle is going with D also. She's going to go with D. Sadistic. He definitely was sadistic. But every single one of these, A, B, C, and D, can have sadistic, or some form of sadistic or hedonistic attributes to the types of killing. But is it lust or hedonistic, thrill, mission, or control? Rackhart's going D. He planned all of his kills. He did. Bundy was very methodical when it came to picking out his next victim. My peeps, C, most likely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, question number 7. What type of serial killer was Ted Bundy? The correct answer is A as in apple. Ted Bundy was a lust and hedonistic killer. More towards the hedonistic than lust. But lust, yeah, there was obviously excitement for him. He was very mission oriented. He had power control issues with every woman, even those he didn't kill. But when it comes to psychology, Ted Bundy and his methodology and the type of serial killer he was more lust and hedonistic than anything else. And yes, there was a definite sadistic side to what he did. All right, question 8. Calm, respectful, and a pillar of his community. This serial killer was even a temporary foster parent for emergencies. Who is it? Think about that. Calm, respectful, and a pillar of his community. This serial killer was even a temporary foster parent for emergencies. Who is it? Was it A, Donald Harvey, B, Ed Kemper, C, Pedro Lopez, or D, John Wayne Gacy? Good evening, Pippadot, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Calm, respectful, and a pillar of his community. Question number 8. Rockar's going with D and a little clown face for Pogo the Clown. John Wayne Gacy's alter ego was Pogo the Clown. Laffy, have fun? I didn't know what hedonistic meant. He was definitely hedonistic. Question number 8 of 20 on The Killer Next Door. Calm, respectful, and a pillar of his community. He was even a temporary foster parent for emergency purposes. At one point, I know all the answers, babe. LOL. I went to school for this. Did you? Ooh. Well, maybe we should all copy off of Rico Squad. Did you get a degree in criminology, Rico Squad? I'm just curious. You don't have to tell us, but it's always fun to meet new people and to learn about their backgrounds. And Lucy Moody, good evening, Lucy, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Rykart, I'm eating KFC right now. Flaunt them skills, baby. LOL. No, I'm cheating. No cheating. Calm, respectful, and a pillar of his community, this serial killer was even a temporary foster parent for emergencies. Who was it? The answer to question 8 is A as in apple. Donald Harvey. Donald Harvey, otherwise known as the Angel of Death, who killed as many as 50 people, was calm, very calm, scary calm of an individual, respectful, and a pillar of community. People looked up to Donald Harvey at one point. I mean, not so much after he was convicted, but he was, a man that that people looked up to and respected for criminology. Oh, cool. But calm, respectful, and a pillar of a community, was even a temporary foster parent at one point. Donald Harvey. All right, question number 9. Oh, that's don't look at that one. Don't look. Nothing beats a great crime novel. With that said, who is the book A Stranger Beside Me about? Nothing beats a great crime novel. With that said, who is the book A Stranger Beside Me About? Is it A, Samuel Little, B, Pedro Lopez, C, Ted Bundy, or D, Dennis Rader? I didn't remember Gacy ever being a foster parent, but I don't know how much about the other guy. Gacy, I don't think would ever be a foster parent. That would be scary shit, especially when he had, for his attractions to younger men. Oh man, can you imagine if they were to put some child in his home? Ted Theodore Bundy. I just read the book, says Pippadot, A Stranger Beside Me. I have not read this one. One of the many that I haven't read. I've read quite a few of them, but I've never read this one. I hope it was a good book. C, awesome book, says Michelle. Miss K is going with C, Kitty QC, Rihanna C, Pippadot, and Rule. I worked as an EMS fireside. Oh, that's cool. That's an interesting job. A friend of mine was an EMT, but he moved on to cardiovascular disease. He's not a doctor. He was an EMT. Then he went on. He got his medical degree, and everything else. But now he works in cardiovascular disease. Cement shoes recommended. Very good. Somebody go wake up Cement shoes. Nothing beats a great crime novel. With that said, who is the book A Stranger Beside Me about? Question 9. The correct answer is C as in cat. Ted Theodore Bundy. That is what the book is about. It's about Ted Bundy, A Stranger Beside Me. All right, question 10. People that knew him said he was fair, honest, a hard-working worker, funny, caring of others. Yet he was known in the media as the truck stop killer. Who is this? Yes. A, Robert Rhodes. B, Lowboy Ricky Thomas. C, Salt Shaker Michael Gary. Or D, Rigger Anthony Sowell. People that knew him said he was fair, honest, a hard worker, funny, caring of others. Yet he was known in the media as the truck stop killer. Wake up, Cement. Lucy Moody. A, but just a guess. Right card is going with A. My peeps, I'm stumped. Upside down smiley face. Miss K, Kitty Q, Rihanna, Michelle is going with A. So confused. D, says Pippadot. Question 10 of 20. Just before our break here. In case you're new here, we take a break after this question because that marks the halfway point of the trivia night. Going to eat dinner. It was fun. Thank you for being so welcoming. You, Frumbly, Rumbly, LPG, I hope to see you again soon. And thank you for being here with us. And you have a terrific week ahead. People that knew him said he was fair, honest, and a hard worker, funny, and caring of others, yet he was known in the media as the truck stop killer. Who is this? Question 10 of 20. The correct answer is A as in Apple, Robert Rhodes. Robert Rhodes is the name we are looking for here. And you all may be wondering what the hell are these funny nicknames. I actually Googled this and I added this. And forgive me, but I was going to actually add you in here, Rykart, but I decided at the last minute to actually change it. Lowboy is, I believe is the type of trailer that Rykart actually uses in their job. A salt shaker is someone who is like works the DOT, and they call them a salt shaker. Those who put salt on the roads. A rigger is someone they're all nicknames for other people, but Anthony Sowell, Michael Gary, Ricky Thomas are actual real serial killers. But I added those trucking nicknames to those ones. But I didn't want people to start saying that Rykart is a serial killer or go on that tangent. So at the last minute, I actually changed this question. All right. It is now our break time, ladies and gentlemen. As we normally do at this time, take a 6-minute break. Be careful of mountain lions, and they are sneaky, and so are Jersey Shore cast members. They're sneaky and not so bright. He was scary looking, but apparently a nice guy. Yeah. 6 minutes. Nah. I don't get those vibes from Rykart or anybody else in this group. Now, I'll tell you somebody I do get the heebie-jeebies from, who I have run into in the comment section of other live streams on other channels. There's a man. He says he's a man, and so I'm referring to this individual as a man because that's how they self-identified in the actual chat. So, with that said, they go by the name of Beep, B-E-E-P, Beep. Not Meep, not Meep Beep, or or Meep Meep, or any of the other common. There's multiple people out there with names like that, but he goes by the name of Beep, B-E-E-P. And every time I read this person's comments, and I've seen them actually do live streams themselves over on Facebook, they give me the heebie-jeebies. There's just something about that radar that that you have within yourself that says there's something not right here about the story or something, or maybe it's just the way that they talk and they actually carry themselves. Beep warning, right? Yeah, but there are people out there. I mean, and the chances are, statistically, every one of us will, if you go to a major metropolitan area, say London or New York, Boston, San Antonio, Texas, Los Angeles, if you're walking down the street, they say statistically, the odds are you will have walked past a serial killer. If you do it more often, the odds are you've probably seen, or been near a serial killer at some point in your life. Now, it doesn't. You could be, in Fargo, North Dakota. You might run into a serial killer in Fargo, North Dakota. as well. I mean, but they say statistically that there'll be a major metropolitan area. Beep beep Richie. Keep your eyes open for beep. Yeah. Well, I get a kick out of some of the people that also we all use screen names, right? For here, I have no knowledge that if you're using your name, or if that is just a screen name that you picked. But some people who've reached out to me, and likewise, and then I find out who they are, and it's like, well, why wouldn't they just use their real name? Well, they don't want people to know who they are. I mean, I highly doubt that individual in Beep is actually Beep. People in this chat are beautiful people. We are. At least I think we are. SS couldn't help it. 2 more minutes. Totally possible. I ran into cement shoes in another live chat. Yeah. Cement is pretty much cement. Cement even has a YouTube channel. I'm a subscriber to it, but Cement never puts anything on it. Gemma, use your real name. Yeah. Well, there are quite a few people, sweetheart, who do use their real names. It's just there's other people who don't, and I always wonder why people don't. And I understand that at the same time, I mean, this is the internet, and you don't want to put everything out there. Excuse me. 1 more minute, ladies and gentlemen. 1 more minute. Mine is Kylie. It's a beautiful name. Miss K. Might have to go back to my real name. Meep. Are you going to go with Meep Meep? Some people I know they've changed their names 2, 3 times, sometimes even more. Your nickname? No. I mean, just because somebody uses something close to it, there's Meep, there's Meep, my Meeps, my Peeps, my Meep Peeps. These are just, there's a lot of them out there like that. All right. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, from our break. Question 11 is now on the screen. This man confessed to killing Adam Walsh, son of John Walsh of America's Most Wanted fame. Guilty or not, who is he? Is it A, Henry Lucas, B, Otis Toole, C, Samuel Little, or D, The Situation from the Jersey Shore? I use my real name, but I like to talk shit sometimes, so I changed it. That works. I ran into Meeps from England. I know of 2 people who go with close names to what your screen is, but they use either a number 2 in there, or they use something else to Meeps instead of the S. It's number 2. I thought that they were possibly Meeps. In my work, I had a nurse murdered. We wanted by the police. Don't use your name publicly. She was tracked from Facebook location. Oh, that's scary shit. George Lucas. Inner Peas, and good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Inner Peas. This man confessed to killing Adam Walsh, son of John Walsh from America's Most Wanted fame. Guilty or not, who is he? Question 11 of 20 on Killer Next Door. I hope you had a terrific week, Inner Peas. Somebody needs to go knock on Cement Shoes' door, tell him to wake up. We were joking about that earlier, Inner Peas. Michelle's going with B. Sorry, I'm not Cement Shoes. Well, we know that. Meep, Kitty Q, Michelle, and Rayanna, Arthur are all going with B. Did I say hello, Rayanna? If I missed you, and didn't say hello, I'm truly sorry. But welcome to tonight's trivia, Rayanna. Rockhar's going with B as well. She was a mental health unit manager. She was so loved. There's some crazy people out there, Miss K. I get that. I get why people use different, names. I understand that. That's just sometimes when I read through the comments, on videos and their live streams, I always wonder, like, why don't people use a different name or their own name, or maybe they use their maiden name or something like that. There's just something in my mind I always think about. All right, good. I'm glad I didn't forget to say hello. Question 11. The correct answer is B as in boy, Otis Toole. Now, the question is, did Otis Toole actually commit the actual murder of Adam Walsh, John Walsh's son? It's a very interesting conversation out there about that. Did he just confess to it because he wanted to, or he was coerced into it, or did he actually really do it? And if I had to, give it a percentage, I'd say it's about 50-50 on the internet for people who talk about it, especially over on Reddit and, on Facebook, in different groups. People are torn on, did Otis Toole actually do it? Did he actually commit the crime? Or was he, some people call him a fall guy or a pansy, for the entire thing. Others think that, he did it for the fame. But anyways, Otis Toole is the answer for question 11. Question 12. He was a quiet man who kept to himself and was often seen feeding stray cats around town. Dubbed the meanest man in America, who is he? Is it A, Gary Ridgway, B, Ted Bundy, C, Pedro Lopez, or D, Donald Henry Gaskin? He was a quiet man who kept to himself and was often seen feeding stray cats around town. Dubbed the meanest man in America. Who is this? Question 12 of 20 of The Killer Next Door. Yeah, you're right there, Lucy. Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas were truly terrifying. And some scary looking dudes just in their own right, by themselves. Question 12. Inner Peace is going with Bob Hope. Dubbed the meanest man in America. That's funny. Bob Hope. I do hear that he had quite the temper on him though. Bob Hope. Lucy is going with A or B. It's one of the two, A or B, maybe. Gary Ridgway or Donald Henry Gaskin. Michelle is going with D. My peeps, D. Lieutenant RN D. Who else? We got Meeps going with C. Get the Q. D question mark. Right, Emma B. Steph B. Jerry B. Pippadot, do you know my real name? Pippadot. You know, sweetheart, I would have to actually think about that for a minute, and I don't know right off the top of my head. And if I do, I wouldn't say it. You heard he was mean? I heard that he had a temper and he was kind of a control freak, Bob Hope, especially on the USO tours. You know that he did. He was not necessarily a perfectionist, but a control freak. He feeds stray cats. How bad can he be? Well, pretty bad. None of these men that are on this list are what you would call humanitarians. Chevy Chase. I had an interesting conversation about Chevy Chase the other day with in a private group chat of people who are more researchers when it comes to crime. Some of them work for other groups, and some of them they're not. None of them are content creators like myself. But Chevy Chase actually came up in the actual chat about and we were trying to think of what movie did we like the most, with Chevy Chase in it. Mine, Caddyshack. That was my answer. You said he beats cats. The question says he feeds cats. Did I say he beats cats? Oh, I'm sorry. He is often seen feeding stray cats around town. Who is he? Dubbed the meanest man in America. Question 12 of 20. The correct answer is D as in dog. Donald Henry Gaskin. And Meep's favorite is Christmas Vacation. I think all of the vacation movies, except for the later ones like Part 4 or 5 or European, and but the original ones, were pretty good. Christmas Vacation, those ones were pretty good. So it's but Chevy is mean from what I heard. I believe John does not believe he did. Gianna Marie. Good evening, Gianna Marie. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Question number 13 is now on the screen. He creeped his neighbors out to no end. Before he ever killed or committed any crimes, people just knew it was a matter of time. He later would be called the classified ads killer. Who is this? Was it A, Bobby Joe Long, B, David Berkowitz, C, Ed Gein, or D, Herman Mudgett? He creeped his neighbors out to no end. Before he ever killed or committed any crimes, people just knew it was a matter of time. He would later be called the classified ads killer. Who is this? Lieutenant RN is going with A. Sherry D. The Three Amigos. Oh, I forgot all about The Three Amigos. That was actually a pretty funny movie. Lucy is going with A. Meep A. Kitiku is going with A as well. Robin Williams was one of the nicest people ever. He was so down to earth, says Rihanna. Sadly, I never got a chance to meet Robin Williams. Mark from Orc. Nano and Nano. I thought Robin Williams was pretty funny in Mrs. Doubtfire as well. But nothing beats Mork from Orc, the Mork and Mindy show. Tragic that he felt that he needed to take himself out of the equation towards the end of his life. A lot of things happen to people, but it's sad that he felt that he that's the direction he had to go. He creeped his neighbors out to no end before he ever killed or committed any crimes. People just knew it was a matter of time. He would later be called the classified as killer. Who is this? The correct answer to question 13 is A as in apple, Bobby Joe Long. Pip Dot, I love Miss Doubtfire. Then Rycar A at the end there. Bobby Joe Long, the classified as killer. Question number 13. Did you know better than 80% of all known serial killers have been classified as being in the McDonald tyrant, meaning they share the three major signs from teenage years forward: abusing animals, bedwetting, and arson as a youth before ever committing murder. Better than 80% all are part of the McDonald tyrant, meaning they show the signs of three different ones: abusing animals, bedwetting, even into their teens, and arson, all before ever committing murder. And there is a large percentage, but I don't know what it is, of those that experimented on roadkill or other animals that they found that were dead, or animals they killed and then they experimented on. There's a large portion of those as well, but I do not know what the percentage is. That was when I met Robin Williams, was during the filming of Patch Adams. Oh, wow. Patch Adams was a good movie. Mork and Mindy was when I came home from school. Mrs. Doubtfire. Mork from Orc. Come in, Orc. All right. Question number 14. There have been 9 major peer-reviewed studies on serial killers. The last one was by Radford University. What known serial killer is not included in any of those? Was it A, Samuel Little, B, Ed Kemper, C, Gary Ridgway, or D, Arthur Shawcross? There have been 9 major peer-reviewed studies on serial killers. The last one was by Radford University. What known serial killer is not included in any of those 9 major peer-reviewed studies on serial killers? The Fisher King. Fisher King was good. Dead Poet Society was another good movie. And pardon my English. We got Lucy with B. Kitty D. Reichardt D. Meep A. I think it's B or C, but I'll go with B, says Sherry. There have been 9 major peer-reviewed studies on serial killers. The last one was by Radford University. What known serial killer is not included in any of them. I think B or C. Ronald McDonald. Not sure, but going with A. Question number 14 of 20. 14 of 20. Loser. We have an answer, a guess for this one. Insomnia is one of my favorites. It's y'all haven't seen it. You'd like it. Insomnia. I have seen Insomnia. You know, one of my favorite movies by Robin Williams that is never given a lot of credit is 1 Hour Photo. 1 Hour Photo. Cement Shoes is not here, at least not yet. Awakening. Rockhart's going with D. Lucy B. One Hour Photo is great. I've seen interviews on all of them, but A. My peeps is going with C. Now I want fries, says Interpeas. McDonald, not McDonald. McDonald Tirade. Bedwetting, abusing animals, and arson. All before they ever commit murder. I can change my name. You're perfect as Interpeas. You're perfect as Interpeas. My daughter was just talking about 1 Hour Photo. I think it's one of the greater movies. He steps so far out of that norm of comedy and more serious drama, and stuff like that he has done before. And then 1 Hour Photo came out, and it's just like, what? Was great as a guest star on Law and Order SVU. Mickey D says Rodcard. All right, question number 14. The correct answer is B as in boy, Ed Kemper. Ed Kemper is not included in any of the 9 major peer-reviewed studies on serial killers. Now, Ed Kemper was known as the co-ed killer, and he did kill quite a few co-eds from the universities in and around the area that he lived in California. But he was not included in it because he was deemed mentally incompetent. So they only looked at those who had not been, and were included in the actual 9 studies that looked at those who were not previously deemed mentally incompetent, where Kemper is and was excluded. Now, there are a lot of videos out there and interviews with Kemper, Samuel Little, Gary Ridgway, and Sawcross. Not so much on Arthur Shawcross, but more on Ridgway, Kemper, and Little. Oh, Kemper is by far my favorite, too, of all these ones here, Meep. My peeps and meeps. My peeps, good evening. I have an old person name. All righty, question number 15. Which serial killer is this? 59 years old, married, 2 kids, a businessman, architect, churchgoer, yet had a twisted hedonistic side. Was it A, Gary Ridgway, B, Rex Huberman, C, Barry Morphew, or D, Jack Unterweger? Which serial killer is this? 59 years old, married, 2 kids, businessman, architect, churchgoer, yet had a twisted hedonistic side. Never would have guessed Kemper. I'm sure he's been in other reviews, about serial killers. He's got a hell of a list of victims out there. Something to talk about. Sorry I'm late. Hello, guys. Hello. How are you, sweetheart? Welcome to tonight's trivia. Something to talk about. Fried liver and onions, my favorite. Fried liver and onions. Oh boy, I've had my fair share of fried liver and onions over the years. My peeps, you are making my mouth water. I didn't know Rex is a churchgoer, man. This chat makes you hungry. We seem to have that effect. Sometimes it always just kind of twists. It turns around on food, fashion, music. It says meat. Which serial killer is a 59-year-old, married, 2 kids, businessman, architect, churchgoer, yet had a twisted hedonistic side? The correct answer to question 15 is B as in boy, Rex Heuermann. And yes, at one point earlier in his married life, him and his wife actually went to church. Now, obviously, this question is a little bit dated because he's getting divorced, but he still has 2 kids. He's no longer an architect, and he's no longer going to church. But there was a time in his life when him and his wife were frequent churchgoers. But B as in boy, Rex Heuermann, the Long Island serial killer, or Gilgato, or however you pronounce that, beach. All right. Question number 16. This serial killer was actually admired at one point for his beautiful garden and flowers. No one knew the secret for how he grew them. Who is this? Is it A, David Parker Lee, B, Ray Parker Jr., or C, Anthony Sowell, or D, Barry freaking Morphew? Gilco Beach? It's something like that, Pippadot. I know it is. I know we're close to like Gilgato or Gilgo something beach murders. I just ate cheesecake. So that's true. My brain gets hungry in here. His kids are like 26 and 33. Lucy's going with B. Louisa is going with A. Or Anna B. Question 16 of 20. This serial killer was actually admired at one point for his beautiful garden and flowers. Question number 16. Kitty going with C. Steph F. Good fertilizer. Was that his secret? The fertilizer? Michelle is going with C as well. Anthony Sowell. My peeps. B. Ray Parker Jr. All right, question 16. The correct answer is C as in cat, Anthony Sowell. Those who guessed B, I would like to remind you that Ray Parker Jr. is a singer, and he sang the theme song to Ghostbusters. That is Ray Parker Jr. And we all know who Barry freaking Morphew is. 15C. All right. Did you know the Sunday morning killer not only picked his own nickname, he picked and killed as many as up to 100 people in his time. Some were killed purely just for sport and boredom. Who is the Sunday morning killer? His name is none other than Carl Watts. Carl Watts, known as the Sunday morning killer. He picked his own nickname, and he may have killed up to as many as 100 people. Carl Watts. I see 15, and the question Will is saying. Ooh. Well, Sherry, we are on question 17 now. His family always spoke of him highly. True, he had a drinking problem. When sober, though, is when people should have been scared, because that's when he was when he killed. Who is this? Is it A, Richard Ramirez, B, Joseph Joey Christopher, C, Donald Gaskin, or D, Gary Ridgway? His family always spoke highly of him. True, he had a drinking problem. When sober, though, is when people should have been scared, because that's when he killed. Who is this? Question 17 of 20 on Killer Next Door. After Chris and Carl, I won't be marrying any man named Watts. You might be a little bit behind there, sweetheart. Try refreshing the stream. We are on question number 17. His family always spoke highly of him. True, he had a drinking problem. When sober, though, is when people should have been scared, because that's when he killed. Who is this? Question number 17 of 20 on the Killer Next Door. My peeps is going with D, and Sherry's going with B. Question 17. It's weird. He killed when sober. Meep is going with B. But this individual, his family used to say that when he drank, he became angry, and they never knew what he was going to do next. Was he going to go into a rage? Was he going to storm out of the house and disappear for a couple of days? They never knew what he was going to do when he was drinking. And he definitely had a drinking problem, but they were scared of him when he drank. But what they should have been scared of is when he wasn't drinking. Question number 17. The correct name, the correct person is Joseph Joey Christopher. Joseph Joey Christopher is the correct answer. B as in boy for question number 17. Oh, he was anything but a happy drunk, Inner Peace. He was a violent, violent man. If you're not familiar with Joseph Joey Christopher, Joey is the nickname that, and all his friends and family always refer to him as Joey. But Joseph Christopher. Will, I can't stay. I'll rewatch the rest and drop the score in the comments. My apologies, friends. And thank you and the mods and chat. You have a terrific week ahead, Kitty Q. And thank you again for being here with us. You stay safe out there. All right, question 18. This serial killer actually seen himself as a truly last of his kind, a true romantic and lover, yet he killed with the rage of 1,000. Who is he? Question number 18. Is it A, Ted Bundy, B, Samuel Little, C, Albert Del Savo, or D, Christopher Watts or Chris Watts? Question number 18 of 20. This serial killer actually seen himself as the truly last of his kind, a true romantic and lover, yet with the rage of 1,000. Who is he? Steph and Lucy are going with C. Is that A? Inner Peas, Ricky Martin. Viva la Loca. Something to talk about, going with A, my peeps, A. Miss K. Bundy, A. Question number 18 of 20. 18 of 20. I look up there and Ricky Martin is still on the screen. All right, the correct answer to question 18 is A, as in apple, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy saw himself as a romantic and a lover. He didn't like to refer to himself or think of himself as anything other. A lover and a true romantic. But he killed with such rage. Well, I'd say it was surprising, but if you've read it or learned anything about Ted Bundy, you know that his rage was always there. Oh, I skipped number 19. He volunteered with his local church. He worked with homeless runaways. He gave away candy to those who couldn't afford it. Who is he? Is it A, Albert Del Savo, B, Dean Coral, C, Barry Morphew, or D, Richard Ramirez? He volunteered with his local church. He worked with homeless runaways. He gave away candy to those who couldn't afford it. Who is this? Question 19 of 20. Something to talk about. My peeps are going with A, Lucy, B, Steph, A, Luza, B, Meep, A, Albert Selmo, Dean Coral, Barry Morphew, or Richard Ramirez. Anna's going with D, with Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. My peeps going with B, Dean Coral. I can't sing, but in my absolutely terrible impersonation of the actual song itself. But if the Candyman can, Michelle be the Candyman. If the Candyman can. Question number 19 of 20. Inner Peas is going with Elvis. Elvis. Yes, he's in the top 10 serial killers. Something to talk about going with B. My peeps, B. Miss K is going with D. 19 of 20. Who is this man who volunteered with his local church, worked with homeless runaways, gave away candy to those who couldn't afford it? It is none other than B, as in boy, Dean Coral, the Candyman. The Candyman gave away candy, especially pralines and other sweet chocolates. He gave them away before they expired to anyone within the community. It's like, we couldn't sell these. You can have them before we throw them away. Sherry's going with 18, is going with B. Don't give up. C and D. They served disgusting chicken soup. Question number 20 of 20. Never caught. This killer acted like a parent to each victim, gave them a bath, tucked them in bed, read them bedtime stories before killing them all. What did they call this killer? Was it A, the Cleveland Stalker Killer, B, Daddy Dearest Killer, C, Dr. Seuss Killer, or D, the Babysitter Killer? Never caught. This killer acted like a parent to each victim, gave them a bath, tucked them in bed, read them bedtime stories before killing them all. What did they call this killer? Jerry, well, he was a lady killer. Question 20 of 20. Never caught. This individual was never caught, and they still do not know to this day who this individual was by the real name. No one has ever been convicted of any of the crimes, murders that this individual committed. Never caught. This killer acted like the parent to each victim, gave them a bath, tucked them in bed, read them bedtime stories before killing them. The answer to this is question 20 of 20 is D, as in dog, the babysitter killer. He killed all of the following: Jill Robbins, age 12, Mark Stubbins, age 12, Christina Milich, age 10, Timothy King, age 11. This all took place in Oakland County. The babysitter killer was later, when they were never able to solve the case of what happened to and how this person murdered and killed all these kids. But they later, in other files, that this individual is referred to as the Oakland County baby killer or Oakland County killer. But originally, he was known as the babysitter killer. D, as in dog. Did you know 31% of all serial killer cases where the killer has not been directly identified between 1974 and 1979 most likely will never be solved? Will likely never be solved unless a confession is received because of poor practices in storing evidence. Why? Because most police departments used paper bags that were processed with a chemical that actually destroys DNA and hair and other fibers. These paper bags were made by DuPont and they were used in police departments across the United States between the years of 1974 and 1979. A lot of cases don't have a lot of DNA evidence. Obviously, they didn't know what to collect back in the 70s, and if they did collect something, it was most likely would be deteriorated at this point. But 31% of all the serial killer cases between those years will most likely never be solved. And we're talking about a lot of crimes, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of murders that are cold cases that have never been solved. They don't know who actually committed the crimes. You can't put them on this murderer or this murderer and say they belong to these people. That's why when you look at the stories of certain serial killers, that says that they, it's not, fair to you, the reader, if they say that this individual killed 15 people. That's an injustice to you because they don't know exactly. Even those who have confessed, given everything that they supposedly a complete confession to all their crimes, they know that every one of these serial killers has held back at least one, maybe more crimes that were special to them and didn't talk about them with law enforcement because that maybe there was a connection there. That's something that they want to relive and not be punished for. But even those like Samuel Little, they know that the likelihood is that his actual crimes and his total victim count is well over 100, but he didn't confess to 100 because there were certain crimes as he talked about them, he would smile, and be very open and honest about it. And then but those are cases, a total number. And then he also drew paintings of his actual victims that he could remember. But towards the end of his life, even the Texas Ranger that Samuel Little confessed to, and talked to and befriended, he knew that Samuel Little wasn't giving him 100% of everything that he had done, and 100% of all the victims that he had possibly killed across America. So, how did you do tonight? Did you get 16 to 20 correct? B, 11 to 15, C, 6 to 10, D, 1 to 5, or E, a mountain lion taming expert? Keep in mind, this is completely optional. You do not have to give yourself a letter grade on this. Some people like to keep track of them. Some people like to, figure out how well they did. That is completely optional. It is not required, that you keep track of, how many you got correct. Halftime Super Bowl score 3 to Kansas City and 10 to the Niners. Peter P says, Reichardt, how's the weather? I still hate the Buc-ee's gas station, or the Buccaneers, or I'm thinking you're guessing about. Speaking about Buc-ee's gas station, Reichardt F. Freaking Barry Morphew Lion. And a Yugo. Now, of these 20 that I put up tonight on the trivia questions, I knew 5. I would have only gotten 5 of them out, that I knew before. When putting together, I try to keep score of how many I knew going into the night. If I would have been presented these 20, I would have known 5 of the 20 off the top of my head. From previous knowledge of the murderers. They're not, again. These are compilations of questions, trivia questions and stuff that I had gathered over the last year. So yeah, there was a couple there, like Rex Huberman, trivia. That's a little dated because it said he was still married in that one, but obviously he's getting divorced. But it might have been a little bit dated there with that one. Check my numbers to see if I won anything. Nice weather here, cloudy at 55 degrees. Where Ricard is right now. Well, it is 45 degrees where I am, partly cloudy, with winds out of the southwest at 3 miles an hour, what it says on the scroll on my bottom of the screen there, which not always accurate. I believe that the weather, the updates there that I get on my screen, I think come out of Yakima. Some people say Yakima, but it's actually Native American and it's pronounced Yakima. But that's where I think that my weather updates come from. The Super Bowl? Apparently it's halftime and it's 3-10. Jude. Good evening, Jude. It is 67 in Naples, Florida right now. Where something to talk about is that it's snowing here. It was raining and it turned into snow. Oh. Do you know who Vince McMahon is, Will? Vince McMahon would be the head of WWE, or he was. 5 or less for me. Rex is still married, technically, right? No, it's nothing super. But Vince McMahon, yeah, wrestler, the guy who owned or was in charge of wrestling. It's about all I know about him. Ed McMahon's brother, says Interpeas. Yes, sir. You are correct, sir. Johnny Carson's sidekick or publisher clearinghouse man. I love to pronounce it as Yakima. 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 So much, you know the area I'm talking about, Reichard, but so much of the area is former Native American land, and they named things after them, but they're pretty much all gone or been shoved off of their land to reservations. Didn't something weird happen to him, Reichard? I'm 86 here in Australia, says Miss K. Ooh. Well, 86. That's a little warm, but with air conditioning, it'd be pretty decent. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you, Will. You as well, Steph, and thank you for being here with us tonight for trivia. I hope you have a terrific week ahead. Stay safe out there. Winter here, Miss K. my little visual aid. I write done on top of them. Gonna have to take them off the clipboard. Clipboard's not gonna hold many more of the answer sheets. They're going after him now with lawsuits left and right of sexual abuse from the past, like they've been doing with rich men. Love you and love the trivia, and see you next time. I'll try not to be too late. Everybody have a good night. You as well, sweetheart. You stay safe out there. Will, are you all better now? Rayanna? I hope so. I mean, I feel perfectly fine today. I played in a golf tournament yesterday and today. Didn't have any ill side effects from it all. Thank you, Will and Gemma and Dan, for sharing this live. Thank you to all the new people, and big thanks to all the chat. Have a great week. Miss K, if you're taking off, you have a terrific week ahead, and thank you again for being here with us tonight. So we need a winter in Australia. How's your family doing, Jude? Pretty good. Pretty good. We got it. We had that flu, and that just knocked us all on our butts. But we all seem to have come through it, though. It wasn't COVID. A lot of people were speculating, oh, it's COVID. Well, that and a lot of speculation about it. You know, people thought, well, where the hell did I go for those couple of weeks? But I try to put content out. It was just getting up and picking up my cell phone some days was just like, it was too much to do. You've been out in the cold. You okay? Yeah. And you. Yeah, we ended up in the golf tournament for yesterday and today. We ended up taking fifth. Not bad. I mean, but we could have definitely done a lot better. But I'm happy with it, with the final outcome of it all. We got through it. We're all old. I mean, none of the people that I play golf with are, spring chickens. We got one of the people is in their 80s, two in their 60s, one in their late 50s. But we got through it. We took fifth, and some of the teams we beat were in their 20s, 30s. But you worked. It was a best ball tournament. If people are even familiar with what that is, but we did pretty good. Can't complain. We all wish we could have done better, but we didn't. Just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. But ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go. You guys are boys. Thank you again to everyone who is here tonight for trivia. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you all again soon. Don't forget, I can't stress this enough, and neither can a lot of other YouTubers, and you're probably getting sick of hearing it. But if you think that you're a subscriber to this channel and the content, you need to check to see if you actually are. Because YouTube system, for some ungodly reason, will unsubscribe you if you don't actually click on the actual name of the channel on the left-hand side of either the mobile, my subscriptions, or from a desktop left for the drop-down expanded menu. I don't know why they do it. YouTube does it. Maybe it's like if we unsubscribe you from a bunch of crap, you'll watch something new. Maybe that's why they do it. They don't want you to watch the same thing over and over again. I don't know. I don't work for YouTube. YouTube works for me. But anyways, thank you guys again for being here, and everyone have a terrific week ahead. Give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. I hope to see you all again soon. And have a terrific week ahead, and everyone stay safe out there.